And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Visit Galactic Fried Chicken down in Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off your order. I think tomorrow, Aaron. Tomorrow might be a galactic day for the Brendel family. Practice is closed. We don't really have any dinner plans for tomorrow yet. I think the family is free, which right now has been a challenge. Kelsey's getting ready to start her first. She's played club volleyball. She's getting ready to start her first season of middle school volleyball. They had a scrimmage tonight that I missed out on because I was here with you and Dave and Dan for the BCJ.
Unreal.
That's going to be so much fun. We're going to have so much fun with Dan.
I really hope Dan has hair next time we see him.
Yeah, Dan Simon. We've got a new member of the staff. We've added Dan Simon, BCJ realignment expert.
We're still working on getting that female perspective, but as for now, all we have is Dan.
Look, I would love a female voice on Bearcat Journal. If you know of one
who works for cheap, as we all do.
We all work for cheap. I don't work for cheap, but I also send all of my money to various hospitals around the city. I'm still working for cheap. Send her our way. We would love to have a female voice into the mix. But anyhow, I think tomorrow might be a galactic night here in the Brendel household. So
here, I thought you just ate it every day. So what do I know?
I would love to. I could eat it every day.
I saw it on the internet somewhere. It's fine,
right? If it's on the internet, it's got to be true. There's a lot of people that say a lot of bad things about me on the internet. They all must be true.
Especially when you're in the radio. Good God.
That's what happens.
People coming at your neck.
When I don't do radio I didn't do radio for 6 weeks. I had my vacation. I was on the road for AAU. Mo didn't take any days off. I didn't do radio. So when I have that kind of hiatus and then I come back and everybody hears International Players Anthem hit at the beginning of the show, there are people around this town that are just like, son of a bitch. And I love it. There's nothing that fuels me more than that.
So speaking of being upset about some things, one of the topics of tonight that I wanted to bring up, I have the tweets. It hasn't been deleted yet, so that's good.
You want to get to that first, or you want to get to Let It Fly first?
We'll get to Let It Fly. I really want to get to this because I think that this is the more this topic's going to go away at some point very quickly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Again, I'm surprised that the tweet hasn't been deleted yet, but here we are. Kyle Tucker from The Athletic had a quote from an article that he wrote about Kentucky's Calipari demanding a new practice gym. And he said, "This is a basketball school." Calipari said this. "This is a basketball school. Alabama is a football school. So is Georgia. No disrespect to our football team. I hope they win 10 games and go to bowls. But this is a basketball school." And then Kyle Tucker added in his own thought on this tweet saying John Calipari wants his practice facility ASAP. That said, Mark Stoops came back, retweeted that entire tweet, quote tweeted it, and said, "Basketball school? I thought we competed in the SEC. Hashtag 4 straight postseason wins." And all of a sudden, all of Kentucky was in a huge fight. Football fan base fighting against basketball fan base. You see Barstool you see UK Barstool getting into the mix saying, "We're a sports school, guys. Stop fighting."
Mom and Dad are fighting. Look, here's the reality. While it does not play out in this fashion very often, at every place, this battle exists.
The Hatfields versus the McCoys?
No. Football versus basketball. But in a lot of ways, honestly, that's how football coaches see basketball coaches, and that's how basketball coaches see football coaches.
Well, they all want the money. They all want their facilities upgraded yesterday.
Right. I've become friendly with the coaches at the University of Cincinnati over the past 16 years. Like I've had a good relationship with most of them. I didn't know Brian Kelly as well because I was just kind of, I was very early in my tenure.
You weren't family?
I was not family. If I see BK, knows me, but I didn't develop a close personal friendship with him. Tim had more of a relationship with Butch, but I still was very friendly with Butch. Mick, obviously. John Brandon, I've known, say what you will, I've known John Brandon since college. I have a good relationship with Wes. I have a good relationship with Luke. There are always subtle, good to hear from you. Are you out covering football again today? Were you down in the practice gym? You want to come up? You're going to stop up and say hello to the football guys? We haven't seen you at workouts this week. There are always these subtle jabs that exist. It is almost always lighthearted in nature with some truth in the underlying, what they're saying. Because as you said, they all want their money. They all want their facilities. They all want their NIL. They all want their, you name it, whatever it is. They all want their locker room.
The spotlight.
Yeah. So it's not surprising that this animosity exists. It is surprising.
And it went
Kentucky.
public.
Well, Kentucky has been, and this is something that's on Mitch Barnhart, because he has basically said, and Kentucky has the ability, if they want to conjure up BBN and pay for however many recruits they want to pay for, they can do that. But their athletic director has said, we are not playing that game. We do not pay kids to come to Kentucky. So now you have coaches telling kids, we'll have your money when you get here. We can't give it to you now, but just trust us. Just trust us. We'll have this money waiting for you when you get here. We know on the basketball side, they can do that. They could tell the number one player in the country every year, if you come to Kentucky, you will make $1 million next year. And that is the stone cold truth. Bottom line, stone cold said so. Come to Kentucky, you'll have $1 million by the end of the year. Probably have $1 million the day that you put your
LOI in.
No, the day that you put your bags down in your dorm, there's also going to be a duffel bag with $1 million in there. But there has been behind the scenes this feuding faction between the two sides at Kentucky, a lot created by their athletic director because of the way he has insisted that Kentucky, basically what his stance has been is we don't have to pay anybody to come to Kentucky. Come to Kentucky because we're Kentucky.
Okay, guy.
Okay, that's great. But if you want to start getting the 32nd rated player and the 43rd rated player and the 72nd rated player, that's how you do that. If you want to get number 1, number 4, number 7, and number 12, which is what Kentucky expects to do in a basketball recruiting class, you better be able to say, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. And the AD has created a wedge at that university because the football side wants to do things. Kentucky football has cheated for a long time recruiting football players.
Shocker. I don't expect you to know the answer to this, but I know that Ohio has allowed the universities to be involved in NIL, and I know that's not the same for every state across these united.
I don't know what the Kentucky
right. That's like I said. I don't. So maybe that's why. In any case,
no, it's just arrogance. It's arrogance. We're too good. We're too good.
The large reason I wanted to bring this entire subject up is the simple fact that I think it's a breath of fresh air to know that Cincinnati is not going through these things publicly they're not having to deal with their football coach and their basketball coach literally feuding on Twitter. These aren't subtle jabs. These are legit, like, go win your 10 games and sure, you get a bowl game while you're at it.
Leave us alone.
But I need my
go finish third in the SEC East and get back to me.
To which he clapped back and just said, we're an SEC school, last I checked, guy.
Yeah.
Guy who lost to a 15 seed just last year.
You got St. Peter's Barstool chiming in.
Yes. They said you sure as hell ain't a basketball school.
Woof. Ouchie. But it's fascinating.
Like I said, it's good to see that regardless, I think that there is a mutual respect here at the University of Cincinnati between Coach Luke Fickell and Coach Wes Miller, that we're not going to see something like this transpire.
Well, here's the difference, and I'll tell you the difference very plainly. And I don't know Mark Stoops, so I can't speak to this about Mark Stoops, but coaching is generally an ego profession. Oh. There is no bigger ego in college basketball than Coach Cal. There's just not. There's not.
Well, especially with
Coach K retired.
Coach K gone,
definitely not.
For sure.
There used to be an equal ego, but now there's not a bigger ego in the sport than John Calipari. Luke and Wes, sure, you don't get to where they've gotten without some ego, but they're normal dudes. Like they're normal human beings. And I think either one of them wants in this quest for power that exists in college sports is make sure we're on the same playing field as the people you're asking me to compete with. Because if you're asking me to win at a top 15 level and you're supporting me at a top 50 level, we got a problem, right? Like, that's not how this works.
Okay.
And I think, you've seen with the new basketball locker room that's been announced, Wes is, even without the winning yet, Wes is being shown that we value what you're doing here.
Right.
Luke has clearly been shown that, I love John Cunningham, Luke Fickell's calling the shots in the Cincinnati athletic department, right? Like,
this school is quickly starting to figure out, are you a basketball school or are you a football school?
See, I don't think it's that. Right now, I don't think it's that. I think it's they're in the Luke Fickell business.
Correct.
That's a different human, man. That's a guy that's wired different. That's a guy that operates different.
He's got the keys to the kingdom.
That's more importantly, a guy that is, and Wes is doing a lot of this too. Luke is a guy that is populating the student body with great humans.
Yes.
And if you're an athletic director, and not only are you winning at a high level, but the ADs know these kids. They have interactions with these kids. They know the culture of the programs.
You're graduating at a high level.
You're putting players into the professional ranks at a high level. You're developing awesome humans. You kind of get like Luke has elevated up that food chain right there with the guy that used to coach basketball here back in the 90s in terms of taking things and blowing it out of the water farther than anybody could have imagined when that human was hired. And when Bob Huggins was hired, nobody thought we're getting to a Final Four and Elite Eights and number 1 picks in the draft. And he maybe not was as good as the last part that I was talking about all the time. A lot of the time he was. We know a lot of those guys. We've had a lot of those guys on these airwaves.
Right.
That is a myth that's not entirely true. But there's also a lot of police reports that maybe state otherwise.
So
you haven't seen that with Luke Fickell.
Getting to that level of respect at this university, one might say it's hard.
It's hard.
So I did want to bring up Let It Fly as the second episode came out. You and I watched it together, actually, via.
I wish we could do that live. I know why we don't, because they don't want us to get their clicks, which I understand because If they were stealing my clicks, I would be furious as well.
We get it.
But I would love to have like watched that, like a reaction video, watched it live with you.
With everyone. Right.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. No, I even just recorded. I wouldn't mind. Like I would like just the two of us. I thought the message was the necessary episode 2 message.
Well,
replacing the NFL guys.
We talked about it on the BBP that there is a ton of messaging going on at Camp Higher Ground. I think at one point you even referred to it as brainwashing, as we all laughed about it. But that said,
I mean, it kind of is.
Right.
That's what football coaches do.
But I think in the first episode you heard a lot of talk about the top 10 program. In this episode, you heard a lot about we're reloading, not rebuilding. The just be us mantra is definitely
iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, all of that is coming through loud and clear.
Get your iron sharpens iron BCJ shirt at 513shirts.com. Drop down partners. Find Bearcat Journal. You can get your iron sharpens iron shirt right there.
Chad speaks in hyperlink. It's fantastic. So I don't know. It was not a super long episode, this one, but again, just kind of getting to see that all of these guys are so bought in, getting to hear from all of the leaders of this team. I think that's important for the fan base to know that you had a lot of leaders that are gone, but here's your introduction for the regular fan.
Jabari Taylor, Trey Tucker, Josh Wiley, the quarterbacks, Wilson Huber,
the entire offensive line.
But more importantly, Dylan O'Quinn and Jake Renfro.
Sure.
Like, if we're singling out the 2 loudest voices in that room, like, yeah, we're okay. Like, that's the thing I think that people need to understand about this team. It is a team that is replacing a lot, but it is not replacing a lot with guys that haven't played a lot of football. Like, these guys have played a lot of football. For a lot of what we're going to see over this season, maybe some of the guys haven't done it with the bright lights on.
Sure.
But these are 3-year guys in the program, 4-year guys in the program, 5, 6-year guys in the program at the top of the roster. Jaheim Thomas has played a lot of football at UC.
Mm-hmm.
Only this much of it has been with the lights on
the field, right?
But he's played a lot of football. Sammy Anderson's played a lot of football. Like, that is apparent across the board. It's just a matter of now you, as a fan, get to learn more about these guys. I'm excited for that. I love that. Chris, we had Chris Scott on today. I've tried to focus on, let's talk to some of these guys. We talked to Sammy Anderson the other day. Let's talk to some of these guys the fans don't know super well yet. I did confirm what I thought was true. Trey Tucker is Tyler Scott's roommate. And I told him what the people wanted to know. And I told him, probably not this week. We got the scrimmage. Like, it's going to, but next week, before Higher Ground breaks, I'm going to have to talk to you about what it's like being Tyler Scott's roommate. And he said, I got stories.
So in the business, we call that a tease, but I think that should do it tonight.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow night. Get to the YouTube page and check out I talked to Jim Kelly today and got his thoughts on camp so far. We also, like I said, had a conversation with Chris Scott. A lot going on at Bearcat Journal right now.
And I'm going to be time-stamping the shit out of everything. You're welcome.
You are the timestamp master. Timestamp Aaron. We'll see you tomorrow night. It's the Nightcap. Brought to you by Bearcat Journal and sponsored by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!